This is a residential assessment, really a side-by-side comparison of, for this particular property owner, should they sell their primary home and downsize, or should they keep their primary home? What are the pros and cons of each path, and which one would be better for them? So this is built off of quite a large financial model that accounts for a ton of different things and spans out over 15 years. I've gone through that in another video, so I won't do that here. But ultimately, what we've got is a side-by-side comparison and giving them the high-level metrics. We can drill down into detail wherever needed, but this is the high-level takeaway of scenario where they keep their home, scenario where they sell their home and downsize, and which one is better for them, including breaking the mortgage, including legal and realtor fees, and where do they net out, and what does it mean for them on a monthly basis going forward if they were to make a move versus if they stay. These columns are them staying in their existing home, so keep existing primary home. These columns are about what if they were to downsize, and the nice thing about this is that we can run different scenarios of downsizing. It's not just one model. Okay, so if they were to keep their existing home, their current payments are around $8,000. In about 3 years, they drop to $5,600, followed by $5,000. It shows the gross profit roughly in 10 years. Gross profit, if sold, is about 1.758. And then it shows in about 10 years, their home was projected based on 5% appreciation to be around 2.8 with a mortgage around 1 million or just 1.1, just under. So a nice low LTV as time goes on. Now, if they were to sell, where does this leave them? So their current home is assessed at around 1.8 million, less their mortgage of 1.35, less legal, less realtor and mortgage penalty, leaves them a gross profit around 318 if they were to sell today with all the selling costs. Now, if we were to purchase another home, let's run the 1.6 million purchase price. Down payment would be around 320. There's 2% closing costs in there, but roughly speaking, the new mortgage would be around 1.28. Less land transfer. This is our closing cost. Less legal. Total to close around 350. New capital required if they were to sell their existing and buy another one for 1.6 would be around 32,000. Now, what would that do for them? Their mortgage payment would still be around, at today's rates, would be around 7,800. They would drop sooner though. So in around 2 years, they drop to around 5,900 instead of 3 years. And then they would drop to around 5,000 shortly after, not too dissimilar. Their gross profit in 10 years estimated to be around 1.5 million. Market value 2.6 as opposed to 2.8. Mortgage around the same, just over 1 million. So, does this make sense for them to downsize into a 1.6 million? Well, their mortgage payments are going to net out roughly the same. They're going to make less gross profit in 10 years, and they're going to have to cough up 32,000 to make this happen in the short term. It doesn't make a ton of sense. This is where we left off, and then I tied some more things together in this model so we could run a couple other scenarios. And they also mentioned the idea of what if we, in a related conversation, they said, what if we downsize into 1.1 or 1.2? This is the interesting thing that I didn't anticipate, but this model does show. So if we were to downsize into, a $1.1 million home, how does this change things? So we have a 20% down, 80% mortgage, same thing, 2% closing costs. Now they have new capital. Total to close is 240, new capital around 77.5 thousand. So they get money back that they could put on their mortgage and have just over 20% down if they wanted to, or capital back in their pocket after the sale is done. The nice thing here, this is what I didn't expect. I did expect the mortgage payments to go down. So instead of around 8,000, they're around 5,400, followed by 4,000, followed by 3,400 in time, which is a significant monthly savings. More than that, though, this is the surprising part, is that their gross profit if sold would be around 1.8 as opposed to 1.758. That was surprising to me for a smaller home. The reason, obviously, is a smaller mortgage, which is definitely an upside. Market value, not quite as high, 2.6. Mortgage, 726. So still a great amount of equity in 10 years. Still good, higher gross profits if they sell. and lower monthly payments. So now by dropping, downsizing a bit further, we can see that not only are they saving on monthly payments, which is significant, they get capital back in their pocket, which is significant, and they're projected to make more gross profit in 10 years if they were to downsize to a 1.1 million as opposed to a 1.6. Now, is that the right move? Well, that's there's other variables to consider here, but what this model helps to do is to really paint a side-by-side picture and run scenarios so that you can see exactly what is projected to happen here if I do path A, B, or now C. And this is where we can get clarity, right? So better information equates to better decisions and higher probability of good outcomes from those decisions. And that's what this is all about. So this is the side-by-side for should I keep my primary home or should I downsize? We do these types of analysis for residential primary homeowners. And also there's a bunch that we do for investors. Very similar, but obviously different on the investment side. So that's this one, and yielded a little bit of a surprising and positive results by downsizing a bit more than we originally planned.